Welcome back to the Better Earth Podcast. I'm your host, Ty Ricarian, joined by Trace Ricarian and our CEO, Zain Jan. Zain, welcome up to Tampa, man. How are we doing?
Excited to be back on this podcast. We haven't done this podcast in a bit, and a lot has changed since last time. So excited to give the audience a little bit of an update of what we've been up to.
Yeah, we're going to do a little bit of Better Earth history from when we were sales org, pre-dealer, or pre-installer. Do a little bit about what we're doing today as an installer, changing the game. And a little bit of future stuff. We got a lot going on at Better Earth and a lot to talk about. But first, let's get into a little bit of a year review. We just did this internally with our sales team and all of our employees. Zain, what would you say is our biggest thing that we learned about ourselves this year, and how you feeling?
Yeah, well, 2021 was all about our foundation as a company, building all of the right processes, systems, and just really setting our company up to really scale across the entire nation and expand. And one of the really unique things about Better Earth from the beginning is we've always had a very similar goal and intention, and it's really to serve the greatest amount of people that we possibly can. And that really is long-term a worldwide mission. And it starts at a small place. And, when a lot of our viewers were listening to our first podcast, one of the things that was going on was we were kind of just getting going. We were building the brand. We were getting out there, but we had so much confidence because we knew what we could do. And what's so interesting about listening to this podcast and kind of where we are today for all the audience is everything we said would happen. Some of it maybe happened a little bit differently, but a lot of it has happened, and even more than that has happened. So it's really crazy to see. But bringing it to 2021 and what's kind of happened with Better Earth over the last 2+ years is, one, we've been able to scale at a really aggressive rate. We've been able to become a top 20 national installer. The average age of the company on that list of top 20 is 10 years old. The next newest is about 6 years old, and Better Earth did it in 2 years. So really crazy to see the growth that we've had, that we kind of postulated from the beginning and we've kind of got to today. But to start with it, the first big move Better Earth made was the acquisition. It was acquiring an installer that we knew could do really good work locally, being able to take all of their ops, their systems, and their infrastructure and really scale that across the entire state of California, which, as we all know, is the largest state for residential solar in the United States. So we started there, and then we did a similar thing in Arizona, got into Arizona. Now we have about 4 new markets we plan to launch in 2022. But this year, before expanding, we wanted to make sure that we had the right infrastructure built so that we could serve our customers nationwide from a centralized place and do it in the best possible manner. One of the things that's been at the core of Better Earth has been our customer experience and really obsessing over that. And our customer is not only the person that's getting solar, but our customer is the person that's also going out there and explaining solar, selling solar, consulting homeowners on solar, and what the best decision is. And one of the biggest problems that our industry faces is people, having deceptive sales tactics or not explaining or educating customers properly. And at Better Earth, we've made it a point that to make sure that we can control that experience as much as possible, to give every homeowner that decides to go solar with Better Earth the best possible experience. So this year was building the foundation for all of that to happen. And now 2022 is about expansion. It's about taking everything we've built, taking the fundamentals of the business and taking everything that we've structured and now scaling that across the nation extremely aggressively, because we truly today have the best experience in solar. From when you submit a deal, for customers who are watching this, a deal is when you make that decision to go solar with us and you start the process, you start the journey from there all the way up until the install is on your roof and you're saving money. That is the journey, and that is probably for the most part really going to be the experience that the customer is going to be involved in, and the customer is going to want to make sure that when they're choosing their solar company, that experience is as tight as possible. So Better Earth has put a ton of time and attention into that experience, and today we're at a point where I know for a fact we are the best at that, and we only continue to get better every single day. So we're going to be scaling that across the nation in 2022. Every customer, every sales rep, every company in the industry will be hearing about us because we are ready to take off, and it's a very interesting time. We've accomplished a lot over the past 2 years, but what we're about to do over the next 2 really is going to set us up to be the top solar company in the United States.
Yeah, and I the first time we did the podcast, as you said, the acquisition was huge, becoming basically a fully integrated, vertically integrated company. First time we did the podcast, our entire company could fit in a shared workspace in Hollywood.
Right.
6, 8 employees, bunch of sales reps. We're running a podcast studio while someone else is doing a podcast behind us. And we talked about vision. We talked about experience. We talked about sustainability, communication, being creative in an industry that really needs help kind of maturing into what it should be. Homeowners deserve an amazing experience, and we're finally getting to that point where we're able to kind of structure ourselves in a way to not just affect our current customers or our current team, but really set the tone for what the industry should do. The behavior of a sales org. You talk about, sales tactics and explaining and educating. The thing I love the most is when we get a 5-star review that comes in, or I get a phone call from a client and they're like, your sales rep explained everything, most expertise person I've ever talked to. Went at it, slow and really explained everything and every reason about NEM and about financing, about the tax credit. And that makes me feel really good because what we did on that first podcast, our goals and visions are coming to fruition. And it's a lot of days in a row at trying to make that happen. But one thing I wanted to ask you, Trace, like when we started the brand, we started Better Earth and we had those goals, like how quickly did you guys think we would get to where we're at today? Do you think it'd be quicker? Do you think it'd be longer? If you can kind of walk yourself back to that podcast, because I've been doing this a little bit, walk yourself back into that room and kind of tell me where you're at today. Where are we ahead of schedule? Are we behind schedule? What do you guys think?
Yeah, well, I think it's always good to reflect, and I think the biggest thing we've all learned is, it's a process. It's a process. Like, it's a process.
Yeah, well done.
And, we had to thank you. We've grown, I think, tremendously well versus maybe our competitors or maybe the expectations. And I think we're on track, but obviously, especially, with the CEO leader here, Zain, and myself and you and Mikey and Misha and everybody, we expect a lot out of ourselves, and, we're never satisfied. So, I think if you asked us right now, like, where do we want to be? Yeah, we'd like to be 2 times the size. Are we doing well on paper, and are we doing, well? Absolutely, and I'm very impressed and also humbled by what we've been able to do and the incredible team that we've been able to build out. And I think that's, one of my favorite parts about, growing this company is, going from that 6 to 8 core employees to over 175, and to be, having 3 warehouses on the cusp of having 4 or 5, in Q1. Like, seeing that growth and seeing us bring all these new people, new sales reps, new customers who really join our family, but then, also our frontline employees and building out these departments. We have a very structured organization now. We have, probably 6 or 7 different, core departments and leaders that are running and leading their own ships, and everything's being delegated properly. And that's been one of the most fun things, is seeing, new people come to the organization, buy in to our vision, which is massive, and go and grind every single day, and everybody's lockstep. So yeah, it's been a lot of fun, and we're as small as we're ever going to be, as you always like to say. And I do feel like every day is day one. And I think that's the best way to look at it. It's like every single day we got more work to do. We're never going to rest on our laurels, and we have a ton to do. Zain says top 20 right now. I think we're like 18th or 19th, maybe breaking 15. But the goal is number 1, right? And that's a massive goal, and probably something that in 2-3 years, people kind of laugh at us, because a lot of these companies have been around for 10, 20 years. But it's like, we know where we're going, and we know we're coming, and it's incredibly exciting to be on this journey.
Yeah, no, I would say the same exact thing. I mean, first off, in that top 20, that's out of 50,000 solar companies.
Correct.
So we have done an amazing thing, and we definitely never want to look back and say we haven't been able to accomplish stuff. But like Trace said, we have this obsessive mentality that it's never enough and we can always do better. And a part of the reason that I feel like we've been able to provide our customers and our salespeople and everyone involved in our company with such a good experience is because it's never enough. If a customer has to wait one extra day to go solar, that's on us, and we got to cut that day down. If we have a service request with a customer, we got to make sure that we can handle that experience and we can handle that and solve that problem as quickly as possible. If a sales rep has an issue with one of their customers, we got to make sure that that gets resolved immediately. And even though to the normal standards or the industry standard, we might be doing unbelievable and crushing it, relative to where this industry can be, we are not there yet. And no one is there yet in our industry, and we want to really lead the way and lead the path to show people you have to care about the customer, you have to care about the experience, you have to care about the process, and you have to get better every single day. Literally, we obsess about our timelines and everything we do. If we are, 0.3 days away from something, we're going to look at that 0.3 days and say, how can we cut that down? How can we take more time out of the equation and create a better experience and better timelines for all of the people involved? And that is truly the obsessive mentality. See, when you look at solar, a lot of the business owners in solar really just look at it as something where, okay, I just got to get this thing to install. It doesn't really matter how long it takes. It doesn't matter what equipment I use. It doesn't matter my quality of service. As long as I do okay, as long as I get it done, everything will be fine. And it's this complacency. And the reason that complacency exists in solar is because there's such a high demand to sell solar, there's such a high demand to get solar, that a lot of people are comfortable. No one has really been shook yet. And our goal is to go in and not get comfortable. We want to go up and we want to continue to shake the industry so that we can increase the standards of the industry, because there's no reason there should be a company out there or a sales rep out there that does average. Our customers and the people that go solar deserve the best experience possible, and we truly believe we're not only leading the way for our customers and for the people in our company, but we're actually leading the way for our competitors by showing them, listen, you can't get complacent and just do okay. You got to be the best, and every single day counts in your business. And when you really think of it in that way, it's never enough. You're never doing good. And again, there's like a difference between sitting back and just having the peace of mind, knowing like you're doing your best. Of course, we all have that, and we're grateful for where we're at and all of the people that have helped us get to this point. But we also know we gotta improve every single day, because the mission that we're on is a lot more than money. It's a lot more than just building a company. It's a lot more than some revenue target. We're changing the world, and we're actually making a true impact. And there's not many people or many companies that even have the opportunity or the ability to do that. So for us to be in such a lucky position where we have the opportunity and the ability to do it, I truly believe we have to use that leverage that we have in the position that we're in to make as much good as possible, because not everyone has the ability to do that. So that's really important to me. It's really important to our team and everyone that we work with on a daily basis. Whenever I'm talking to someone, whether it's literally someone that's brand new, entry level at our company, or I'm talking to one of our executives, it's the same exact message. We got to keep doing better. Thank you for all of the hard work that we all do, but we got to keep doing better. There is no place to be content, because our mission is so big. The problem that we're trying to solve is so big. There's no time to wait.
Yeah, 100%. Just kind of you talking a lot about experience, and I think that's like our core pillar. That's number one. It's the thing we always come back to. I mentioned this on the last podcast. We're in this thing for 30, 50, we hope 100 years, right? And every single decision that we make in the short term for that long term always boils back to that one central idea of, is this improving the customer experience? We want to be the best place to go solar for customers. We want to be the best place for sales reps to sell solar. We want to be the best place for employees to work in this industry. And everything always ties back to that. So it makes it, I think, easier for us to make probably some different decisions than some of our competitors, because we have that compass. That's number one. It always goes back to that. We have a ton on the docket for this year. We're talking about regional expansion. We're also talking about building out our software systems. And that's an experience thing. It will first be for our sales reps, and then we're building a ton of software like customer portals, things to make referrals much easier for customers and our sales reps. A lot of times that kind of dual customer base that we always talk about, our sales reps and our customers, like it ties, right? If you build for both of them and you take care of both of them, the rest falls into place. And I think that's the biggest thing, is we always focus on experience, taking care of people, and we know the growth will come. We know the rest will come if we get just that thing right. And you know, that I think is why our trajectory has been so massive, you know, versus others, because I think a lot of people are like, you know, this is a short-term thing. It's like a cash play. It's like, it's not. We're changing the world. We're transforming the, you know, the energy grid from, you know, old fossil fuel dirty to, you know, renewable and clean. And, you know, I think everybody in this industry, and a lot of people, you know, do take it on the chin and take that responsibility, but everybody needs to recognize, like, what we're actually doing. What we're doing is incredible. Every single person in this industry, not just, you know, people at Better Earth, this entire industry is, you know, doing, I would say, some of the most important work you could do on a day-to-day basis. So if you know, take complete ownership over that and recognize that, you can do a lot.
Yeah, I would just add to Trace's point too. And this is not just advice for people in solar. This is advice for anyone building a company. You need to make sure that you understand, as an executive, as an owner, as a leader within a company, your employee is not just the person who's buying your product. You have multiple employees, and at the end of the day, you are serving everyone, and you have to lead with that mentality. Number one is the people on the front lines. Whoever's selling your product, whoever's the first person that your customer greets and meets, you have to make sure that they have the best experience possible, the best training possible. They are just as much your customer as the person buying your product. Number two, whoever's fulfilling your service, right? Like if you're at a restaurant and you walk into that restaurant, the first person that you see, maybe the maitre d', is going to be that first impression that you have. So you want to make sure that that's a great experience. Then you sit at the table, you have a busser, you have a waiter. You got to make sure that those operations are dialed in and they're happy, because if they're happy, what are they going to do? They're going to give the customer the best product and the best experience. And then the last thing is you got to make sure that the food's good at a restaurant, right? Well, it's the same way in any business. It's the same way in solar. You got to make sure that every single person is satisfied. They understand the mission. They're having a good experience, because if they have a good experience, guess who else has a good experience? Your end user, the end product, 100%. Your customer. And that's not just for solar. That's for every industry.
Yeah, I absolutely love that. And I want to actually cycle back to that in a second. And at the end of the day, what it really shows is solar makes sense. In a lot of places, it's an absolute no-brainer. The only reason why someone might not go solar right now is maybe they heard about a bad experience and they don't want to deal with the pain or the perceived frustration. So we're literally only fighting against one thing, and it's if we can clean up experience, if we can communicate well, if we can give that good feeling that you get at an amazing restaurant. Because I love that mentality. Everyone's going to go solar, and if we can be the leaders, in those conversations, in communication, in experience, everyone else is going to have to follow, and that's going to really make this industry explode even faster than it is now. And some of the things I like to think about the effect that we've already had is, permitting departments didn't have solar 10 years ago. Now they do. They didn't have virtual before COVID. Now they do. Those departments are growing. So the better experience we give, the more everyone else has to follow us, because we're not the only company involved here. Cities are involved. Utility companies are involved. We all have to create a seamless experience together, and the better we do it on our side puts pressure on them to do a better job on their side, which makes things faster, nicer, better experience, more glass on the roof, and a more sustainable world for all of us, which is what we need. But going back to the restaurant stuff, Zain, I love what you said there, because we're all big fans of Carbone. Obviously, you live in Miami. Trace and I frequent the Carbone in Vegas a lot, and of course the food is good. But it's more that lead up into thinking about where you're going to go to dinner that night, the experience you're going to get. Are you going to see the same, waiter or waitress or, server or host that you saw last time? Because every feeling that you get at a place like that it's perfection. And
I'll tell you one interesting thing about that is, let's say you just walk into a regular restaurant, not a crazy high-end place, just a very regular restaurant. They're just going to hand you a plate of food and probably kind of walk away and not really say much. Now, if that place is really good food, that business can be extremely successful because the food is the main product. But when you're going to another restaurant like Carbone, it's not just about the food. and anywhere you go. It's about that experience, and how that experience is handled, how that experience is created is going to affect what your opinion is on the food. Even if the food wasn't a 10 out of 10, the rest of the experience can make up for that. So and how we can kind of relate that to business and solar, and really just to any business in general, is it's not about the problems. It's not about the issues. I think so many people focus on just the problems and the issues, which are definitely important to handle, but that's normal in a company. In any business, there's always going to be problems. There's always going to be issues. It's about how do you handle them? How do you fix them? And do you create a good experience? Some of our best customers, I'll give you an example. We had a service request come in the other day of an issue with the homeowner, and I was so pumped to see this happen live because I saw the service request come in. It actually got onto my radar. Not all of them get onto my radar, but the ones that do, I really like to watch closely. And it came in, and a few hours later, someone literally went out, handled it, and got it done same day within a few hours of the customer even bringing that to our reality. And then the customer sent a message back and was like, "You guys are the best. I'm just so impressed about how you handled this and how quickly you did this." And that's what matters. Sometimes there's things that are uncontrollable, like that issue happening, but how we handle it and how we respond to it is what the customer is going to feel. And that is something that's so important to us at Better Earth. That's why I always say, like, first day of any employee, first day of any sales rep, we got to make sure that they understand we are not just selling solar. We are not just installing solar. We are going out there and we're on a mission and we're creating experiences, and we have to make sure that those people are trained up and they're satisfied and they love their job and they know what they're doing. Because if they are, that's going to translate to the customer. And guess what? If the customer's happy, that translates to more people going solar and more people adopting solar because they're having better experiences and they're hearing good things about it. So I don't even view it as something we should do. It's a fiduciary duty. It's something we have to do to further this industry.
Well, yeah, and it's easy to create a good experience when everything goes right? It's anybody can do that. What happens when things go wrong and how you solve problems is really, I think, the true indication of, are you creating a good experience? And, that's one thing I'm really proud of. We're not perfect, right? And it's impossible to be perfect, but like if something is going wrong, like we have a group text chat popping off. It could be Sunday at 11 p.m. and we're everybody all hands on deck. Like, what are we doing? What are we doing? What are we doing? Right? It's all of us. It's that care and really like that commitment to excellence that we strive for, that like we can't have one customer feel like this is going awry for them, because it's bad for them, but it also creates a standard of mediocrity. And we try to push that in the culture, company wide, where it's like if there's something going wrong, like top priority, drop everything, get it done, get it fixed, then go back to your day to day. Doesn't matter if it's in the priority queue or whatever it is. If there's something big happening, just do it, get it done. That's something that Zain especially, I think, has brought to the culture, brought to me, and even just like my own day-to-day life, is that like there's a problem brewing, just fix it. Don't let it fester, don't let it brew. Just get it done, then move on to the other thing, because it'll make doing all those other things a lot easier, and you don't have this lingering feeling in the back of your mind like, oh, I have this thing. Right, and that's something that
I
I'm
always
grateful
say,
for.
Like I always say, like, systems work until problems happen.
Right.
You can have the perfect system, but if a problem happens outside of that system doesn't work anymore. And that's where we have to realize, as a business owner and just as a company in general, what you're doing is you're solving problems. And you can't just say, oh, I have a system. You can't just say, oh, I got to solve this through our system, and I got to make sure that the customer, goes through the proper channel. Yeah, you got to do all of that to be scalable as a company. But at the end of the day, we're working with people. We're working with humans. Sometimes if it takes rolling up your sleeves and getting that done, you got to go out there and you got to get that done. And that's the mentality that Better Earth has. Whenever there's an issue, whenever there's a problem, first, let's handle it. Let's solve it. Let's create that good experience. And then let's go back and see why the system didn't fix that, or why that even happened initially. And that's going to be extremely important for any business and everyone in the solar industry. Get that problem handled. I don't care how big of a problem or how small of a problem it is. handle it so that the experience can be great, and then go back to the system and fix the system.
100%. I think that's one of the things that's difficult to maintain at scale. We talk about that a lot as well, is remaining human, right? And that's what's expected out of brands. Like, obviously, both of us are, deep into the marketing department. Like, brands 30 years ago could be faceless, kind of just omniscient things, right? But now brands have to be human, right? They have to have a face. They have to have a personality, and that's what customers are expecting of us, is to be human when things happen. It really just boils down to that. Like, how would you treat your friend if something was happening, right? That's how we look at it. Or your grandmother or your family member. Like, that's how we look at clients, right? Like, they're our friend. We have to go and get in the trenches and fix things for them, and always put that first, because again, we know doing that lets us do everything else, and that's the most important thing, is taking care of them lets us do everything else.
Yeah, and I talking about figuring out and learning more about your team, like when the chips are down or when you're behind or when there's a problem or when it's late at night or early in the morning. I think that's the thing this year here in like 2021 that we've gotten so much better at. We've had to go from 60 employees to like 170. So building your team of people that on bad days or in certain problem situations, you can, one, trust, two, that's where they shine. Mm-hmm. I think that's the markings of our growth, really, is we have an amazing team that, of course, on our best days, everyone's crushing it, we're growing, and we have all these amazing wins and goals. But on, through the struggles, through growth, through COVID, through logistics, through hiring, through going into other states.
Supply chain.
Working with other sales partners, all sorts of things happen, every single day. And there's not probably one day that goes by without some sort of little problem happening in our company. And it's fun because we tackle it. And I think, we're addicted to solving the problems. And I think that's why our goals and our experience and really our vision for what Better Earth is going to be and already really is, we can actually get to where we're going, which is number one. And the question, I kind of answered this on a podcast earlier, maybe last week, is would you partner with Better Earth? Would you want to sell through Better Earth? Would you want to refer Better Earth as a homeowner? Would you recommend, your friend working there? And my answer, right now is a resounding huge yes on all these things. It's the best company I've ever worked with. I would love to work with myself. I'd love to talk to all of our departments. And the biggest one that's been a huge win, especially in Q3, Q4, is our client experience and our sales experience departments. It's where a lot of our money's gone, a lot of our time is gone, and it's into building that experience. And, it doesn't just come from saying it. It's work. It's hours and hours and hours and hiring the right people. And we have the right people, but we put work into those people too. And you've been doing a lot with those departments, Zain.
Yeah. I'll say every single day, a sales rep, a employee, or a customer has a decision. And that is, am I bought into this company? And every single day, that decision can be different based on how the company is executing. So I don't think it's something that you earn one time and you keep forever. It's something that every single day you have to earn. And I always say this, when people ask me, Zain, how are your salespeople so motivated? I say, well, we got to give them a good experience and we got to pay them well. It's really important. If we want them to provide a great experience to our homeowners, we got to give them a good experience and we have to pay them well. Why are your employees so motivated? Why will some employees answer a call at midnight? Well, if they understand the mission and they're motivated by the mission and they're paid well, they're going to do good. Well, why do so many customers decide to go solar with Better Earth? Well, if they understand the mission, they understand what we deliver, and we give them a good deal, they're going to go solar with us. And that is earned every single day in any company, in any industry. You have to understand it is the marketplace, and someone can take you out daily. Whoever is going to provide the best product, the best service, the best pricing, the best overall everything is going to win long term. And every single day, you have to earn that. And if you don't earn that every single day, someone can beat you out. That's why our mentality at Better Earth is never give up and never stop and continue to get better, because we are not comfortable. If tomorrow we have a bad experience with a client, that client has a right to go and work with any other company and go solar with any other company. And we got to earn their business every single day. If we have a sales rep that likes working with us today, but tomorrow they feel like they have a better experience somewhere else, we got to earn that sales rep. If we have an employee that feels like they can go work at another company, we got to earn that employee. And it's truly that, really like that belief and understanding. We are not here just sitting here trying to get rich. No. We have a big mission. We need people to be on that mission with us, and that is earned every single day.
Yeah, exactly. And I think we've done a lot of things with communication experience with all of our clients, from sales reps to homeowners, but we've also had some game-changing things we've added to our repertoire as an adder, meaning our 60-day installation timeline guarantee, which we debuted June 1st of 2021. We have the strongest 25-year production guarantee in the industry, meaning the kilowatt hours that are actually produced on that system for 25 years are written line by line in our contract. Those are things that maybe people like ask us, like, why would you do this? Or like, it's because people deserve these things. It's not an adder to us. It's what it should be.
And what's funny is we think, or people think like, damn, Better Earth must be crazy for providing this production guarantee. Like, how can they ensure that?
Yeah.
Better Earth must be crazy for giving this timeline guarantee. How can they ensure that? And the real answer is internally, we're not even happy with those.
Yeah.
We think they can be better.
Yeah.
We think we can give a better experience. We can give better timelines. We can give better guarantees. And even though everyone in the industry might look at us and say no one else is doing this, 100% of the people are not doing this, we know that we can continue to make that experience better and make those offerings better, because again, our people deserve that. We truly believe that. And the more that we can serve our customer, the more that we can serve our sales reps and our employees, the better experience everyone's going to have. And we truly believe that.
Yeah. So, we did those things in 2021. I know, Tracy been working a lot on kind of our suite of softwares that we own in-house. Where do you guys kind of see us really kind of moving the needle again here going into 2022?
Yeah, I mean, at least in my world, software will be a big piece, and it'll start with sales experience software, which in turn is client experience software, because that's how we're signing up customers and managing customers and doing everything. And we have a ton of really, honestly, incredible and innovative stuff that I don't think has really been done in this industry up to this point. That's going to also kind of bleed into some of our expansion goals. So that's one big piece. And then kind of more of like a calling card is, I think in 2022, we're going to be a lot louder. We've already been pretty loud versus maybe some of the others in this space, but we're going to be a lot louder on social media, on becoming thought leaders, doing a lot more stuff with Troy and myself, putting out a lot more content. And that's where I feel like we're talking a lot about this, like pushing the industry forward. It's putting out content. It's telling the story more and more often and consistently. We haven't done one of these podcasts in a while. That's going to be a lot more consistent. I want people to understand where we are in December 2021, also where we are in January 2022, March, April, May, and so on, and really kind of putting our money where our mouth is a little bit and showing and telling the world, like, this is where we're at today. Look where we're at in 6 months. Look where we're at in 18 months. And that's one of the things I'm really excited about on the marketing front, because I think it makes us human. It's what customers are expecting and wanting, and it's something that not a lot of people in the space are really doing. So those are kind of my two like big focuses, is to really like get us out there, and kind of put us on blast a little bit and just show the world what we're doing every single day.
And one of those things that you're working on along with Troy and also Kyle is our drone program, where we're really going to be showcasing homeowners' homes that want to opt in and get a beautiful kind of highlight reel of their home and their solar install. Tell us a little bit more about how that's going to look and that expectation you have.
Yeah, so it stems from something that I've been thinking about honestly my entire time in solar, which is taking the friction out of referrals. I think solar sells itself as long as you just give people a platform. Not every customer that we have wants to necessarily like put themselves in a text group with their sales rep and do it like that. I've always tried to think about, okay, what are different ways to just make it easier for customers to say, hey, getting solar. And then also just from a pure kind of market perspective, it's like, you know, our clients are, you know, probably using Facebook. That's where they're at. And one of the things that, you know, we need to give them something to post and like say like, hey, I went solar. And it's also right in line with probably what our customers are sharing already. It's big life events, right? My son graduated 5th grade. I redid my deck in my backyard, right? I wanted a way to basically say, put solar in that same conversation. So yeah, beginning of 2022, it'll probably really kick off in February, is when we're actually signing up customers. They'll be able to opt in for a free drone video. 100% of customers will be able to get a free drone video, something very highly produced, something that they can use when they go and maybe sell their home, which Troy is, you know, kind of deep in the video game. We've kind of tallied it out. It's like a probably $700 to $900 thing if you wanted to get this done for your home. We're just going to do it. We're going to come out a week after install. We're going to shoot a drone video for you. Then on top of that, we're also going to basically build you out your own little kind of micro landing page case study that shows like how much you're saving, your system, high res photos and this video, and make it very easy for you to share that via text or on Facebook. And if anybody signs up, and this is where it really gets fun for both clients and our sales reps, or if you share that piece to Facebook and one of your friends is like, oh, that's cool, they hit that page and they go sign up, we'll automatically know that that's a referral for you. We'll automatically notify that rep that, hey, you have a referral opportunity from this customer. So that's really like the big kind of quintessential goal there. The drone video is just a really nice product offering and a really nice way to complete that ultimate goal, which is taking the friction out of referrals.
Yeah, I'm super excited about it. And you bring up kind of the selling your home component of it, and solars show that it adds so much value to your home in the sale. We're just going to make that even easier for someone to understand, you know, how solar works, what you're receiving, what it looks like. And one of our big partners is Pearl Certification. And when I brought this up, like at our retreat a couple months ago, they were like, are you guys kidding? Like, we would love this drone videos of the home showcasing the solar to go along with, you know, all the stuff they give in your home efficiency kind of plan, because when people come into like a Pearl certified home, they tag it and they're like, wow, this is amazing. It's so organized. I know exactly what this home truly is. And that's kind of what we're doing for the solar side too. Yeah. And it's fun. You know, I think we'll probably kind of gamify it too. Like, I don't know if we're going to do something like this, but maybe the people that like it, we plant a tree, you know, for each client or whatever. And that just really shows what our overall mission is. It's make solar cool, make it easy, showcase the beauty of it, because it is beautiful. We only use black on black tier 1, you know, panels. We're not putting up the blue panels or the white panels or, you know, the super large panels that are white and blue that look bad. We put really nice black on black panels that really aid to your home. It's the future. And if you don't have solar in your house soon, you're going to have an archaic, you know, home. And I'm super excited about the drone program because it's our most interacted with videos on YouTube or Instagram or Facebook, drone videos, or a podcast video, because we're pretty good.
Sure. And I'm also excited just because it's going to be like a hilarious amount of content, right? Especially as we grow, right? Because I am estimating the opt-in rate will be like, I don't know, 80, 90% probably. We're doing hundreds of installs a month. The goal is to get to thousands of installs a month. So if this persists throughout, you know, the years of Better Earth, we'll be putting out 1,000 videos a month, 35 videos a day, which will just be absolutely incredible. And something that I've actually like never seen a company do in such a prolific manner outside like a media company. So that's one of the things I'm really excited about. And then that also, like, putting out that much content in that kind of one niche, I think will kind of allow us to build our team and allow us to put out more and more written content and podcast content and everything else, and really kind of build out this Better Studios ecosystem that, you know, we've talked about really since the inception of Better Earth.
Yeah, I was just going to add to that. What's so interesting about the drone program, the software we're building, all of the tools that we provide to, you know, our sales reps, our employees, and then the experience that we provide to our customers, usually within a company, just meeting the expectations of the experience is extremely hard, right? Like just meeting the expectations of the customer. What we're trying to do in Better Earth, especially in 2022, is say, it's not just about what your expectations are. We want to provide you an unexpected experience in a positive way. We want to give you the things that are unnecessary that you might think, this is nice to have, but we don't need it. Everything that we want to add into 2022 is not what's expected of us. We're going to deliver upon that, but what's not expected of us, like our drone program, like our seamless experience, like all the software we have coming out and the portals we have coming out, that's really going to blow the industry away. That's not stuff that's needed to go solar. That's not stuff that a homeowner expects. That's stuff that's an add-on. And I always talk about it. It's playing the offensive game. A lot of companies, especially in solar, something that's related to construction, are always playing defense. You're calling your solar company. You're calling your contractor. You're calling your surveyor. You're calling your sales rep. We want to switch it. You are sitting there, and we're on the offensive as a company, and we're saying, listen, I know you thought that this thing was going to be done next month. It's actually done today. I know you thought that you were going to get installed 2 months from now. You're actually going to get installed today. I know as a sales rep, you thought your project was going to be handled in this way. We actually just did it for you. And creating that unexpected experience for people is really going to make people realize, like, wow, it's not only what I expected, but it's much better than I expected, and you've really over-delivered. And that's where every part of our experience, we just look at and we say, how can we do something that doesn't make sense? How can we do something that you couldn't just put into a business plan or into a spreadsheet without really understanding the behavior and the entire process? And that's what Better Earth's about. It's about creating that unexpected experience that people don't really need, that's not really necessary, but it's what makes people fall in love with us. It's what makes people fall in love with solar, and that's going to lead to, again, in my opinion, the mass adoption of solar.
Right.
Yeah, and there's a lot of reasons why we're actually able to do these things. We don't have all outside money invested. We don't have a board to answer to. We're not trying to make shareholders happy or answer to anybody. It's really us, and it's our vision, and it allows us to be really fluid and think creatively. And I love what you just said about being on the offensive. And I think if you're a sports person or whatever, there's all these different eras of sports, especially in like the NBA. And right now we're in this crazy offensive era with Steph Curry, and, the 3-point shot has become just something that everybody has to do. It's something you better be able to do now if you're ever going to think about playing professional basketball. And back in like the early 2000s, and Trace and I are Detroit Pistons fans, it was very defensive, and I think we're going to help solar break out into that offensive mentality. And it's not because we're following anyone else. It's not because we've seen someone else do it and we think that's a good idea. It's doing the unexpected, saying, hey, what can we do to not just shake things up, but to shake things up with the foresight of this is going to better everyone's experience. This is what should be happening. And it's possible if you believe it. And we sure as hell believe it. I know us three do, and I know a lot of the people on our team do. It's going to be really interesting for other people in solar, other companies, other sales reps that are used to, the past. Zain, how do you kind of see us? Because you and me and Trace, we all communicate with people across the country, even people we don't work with.
Can I add real quick before we go into that?
that.
Because you mentioned our team, and I think that's the best thing we have going here is that we have an incredibly supportive team, even from people that maybe don't understand exactly always what we're trying to do.
Sure. Yeah.
Right. And I joke around with Sean about doing a different kind of math. That's what I tell him.
Yeah.
This is a different type of math. This isn't supply chain math where it's like, hey, we're getting less, costs here, and this has top line revenue and bottom line and all that. Something like this drone program or quantifying a 5-star review. It's a different type of math. You have to do a few loops to make it make sense, and a lot of times those ROIs take time. And my favorite part of working with this company and working with this team is we're allowed to get creative. We're allowed to go a little off the walls. Luckily, we have people that bring us back sometimes a little bit, but we're allowed to kind of execute and kind of dream up these ideas that don't make sense and are unexpected. because we're all focused. It boils down to that core mission of experience. Does it at least affect the experience in a positive way? Cool. That means it fits our goals. Let's rock with it and run. And that's one of my favorite things. I want to just get that in before we move on.
I agree. I think that's the reason why we've been able to bring in so many other amazing people into the company is because they ask us, what is it like working with Better Earth? Like, I like you, but what's like working with everybody? And it's like, man, everyone allows you to really be yourself and to think creatively and have fun doing it to build your own way. No one's going to slow you down at Better Earth. If you're good at what you do and you have big goals, you're able to build, and you don't really have to ask for permission. I know a lot of things I've done building is I just decide I'll do it and I'll bring it when it's ready, and that's how it works. And I think that's amazing, at least for me, knowing that's how other departments work too. And I'm always like, wow, I didn't even know we were working on this. Demo, are you kidding? Like, you made this over on Saturday? It looks like you've been working on it for 2 years.
Yes.
And that's the fun part is we have so much talent here.
Yeah. Quick sidebar on Dima. So Dima is
shout out Dima.
One of my favorite just human beings on the planet. He came in to do stats and data analytics and really smart technical guy. And we needed something. He couldn't figure out how to do it. It was really impossible to do it with out-of-box software. So he literally just taught himself to code over like a 3-month period, quietly, didn't tell anyone, and then was like, hey guys, I built this custom piece of software, which is now probably our sales team's favorite piece of software. And he did it not knowing how to code, taught himself how to do it, and then just rolled it out. And now it's a core piece of everything we do. Yeah, and that's I think one of the greatest things about our culture is that people are so bought in to solving the problem by any means necessary. So they'll get in the trenches and even teach themselves how to code so they can execute on something. It's incredible. DM, I love you, man.
Yeah, no, it's a scoreboard.
Scoreboard.
And it's, I love showing off scoreboard because people are just like, wow, this is what we've been searching for 15 years, 10 years, 5 years, whatever industry they've been in.
What's crazy is
they've been wanting
they've only seen
that tool.
like 15 to 20% of what's coming out.
If
that.
Wait for Pangea.
Yeah. And, that's kind of what I was going to cycle to is, I think, Zane, one of the things when we talk about experience, we talk about our differentiators, we talk about like our vision and our goals for the industry. Sometimes that's hard for outsiders to understand or to buy in on, or they don't think it's real. And you and me talk to a lot of people on the outside in all states, even people we don't work with directly. But we've been getting better and better answers. People have been seeing what we're doing. They see the work we're putting in. What are you, how are you structuring and kind of framing what we're doing at Better Earth to let them know, like, hey, like this is how solar's going to work, within 6 months or a year or 2 years. And if you're not kind of doing it our way, you're going to probably be left behind.
I always tell people, listen, here's the best part of Better Earth. We're not trying to take anyone out. We're not trying to put anyone out of business. We're not trying to hurt anyone. What we're trying to do is create the best product that will create mass adoption of solar and renewable energy and down the line, more efficient products. And we're trying to do that across the world. That is our core mission. Anything that can help us achieve that mission, we will do. So when I talk to people, it's not about saying, hey, you got to come join us or you got to come work with us, but it's a very fair warning. It's saying, hey, listen, we're doing this. We're already going to be a part of it. Do you want to work with us or do you not want to work with us? Because at some point, you're either going to work with us or someone on your team is going to work with us or something is going to happen there. And we're doing this. We are not going to compromise our mission for you. We have to make sure that we can help the world go solar and we can make it easy to go solar. That is number one. We have to make that experience number one. And if that is very, very important to us, it is up to you to join us. So my messaging to people is, listen, I want to help you. I want to work with you. I know we can provide you the best tools, the best service. At the end of the day, I can do that. We can do that as a company, but you have to make that final decision. And I truly believe if you're in solar, there's a very, very, very high likelihood that you will be working with Better Earth. I don't care if you're an installer, you're a sales rep, you're a sales company, or you're a customer. You will be working with Better Earth at some point. Even if you are a customer who went solar with Vivint or Sunrun or with another company, we will figure out a way to have an experience, and we will figure out a way to work with you. So,
yeah, and we've been using that since day one when that was.
But it's true, which is crazy. Yeah. Like, I really don't look as, and I think this is probably the difference between us and a lot of companies. If I see someone installed with solar, that's someone who's going to work with us in the future. That is not someone who we just write off and say we're never going to do business with them, because we need to make the rest of their house efficient. We need to make sure that their solar system is being handled and serviced properly, and we are going to be a part of that experience. And if I see a sales rep at another company, that's not competition. That's a future customer. If I see another install company, that's not competition. It's a future customer, and we truly look at it that way. And I think that's what separates us. You'll see a lot of companies. They'll maybe go to a customer's house, not know that they have solar on the backside of the roof, hear about it, and then just walk away from that customer. We won't, because we know that that is a future customer.
Yeah, and I think the way that we kind of frame it is, if you've gone solar with another company as a homeowner, like, you've honored this industry in a way that we're very appreciative of.
100%.
If you work in this industry, unbelievable. You've figured it out to some degree, and you're spending your time doing an amazing thing, even if it's not with us. And I usually open up meetings with that, just like thanking people for being involved and taking this seriously, because we do. And if you're willing to kind of think about it critically at any level, we want to work with you. And the people that haven't gone solar yet, don't even know what solar is, we're excited as hell to like educate you and learn what you need and what we can do to be a part of your life. Because as you say, we will be a part of everyone's life at some point sooner than later. And kind of, cycling back on that mentality is one of the ways we do that is with growth, with expansion. We now have, 3 warehouses in California. We have 1 in Arizona. We went into Arizona at the start of 2021. We're about to go into Florida at the start of 2022. Zain, kind of catch us up to speed on kind of that little bit of growth that we had over our first 2 years, kind of in our foundation phase, and where we're going into 2022 with that true expansion mindset.
Yeah, so in 2021, like I said, in 2020 as well, it was about building the perfect foundation that could scale. We did not have a plan in 2021 to expand aggressively in terms of market share or territory. We wanted to kind of grow within in the markets that we were in, create the best experience, create a system and a process that was duplicatable. Now we have created that, and it's the best experience. Now for us to enter each market is not going to be terribly complicated. We're going to be able to do it in a very, very, quick way, in an amazing manner where we don't compromise experience. A lot of companies are willing to expand at the cost of experience. They're willing to give up experience as long as it means more expansion, because they believe that leads to more revenue. Even though it might lead to more revenue today, long term it leads to less revenue, because you're losing trust and integrity with your customers and with the people that work with you. We need to make sure that at every point we do not compromise our integrity. We keep that integrity strong, and we keep good on our promise. So in order to do that, we have to be a little bit patient, and we don't have a patient team. We had to be a little bit patient. We had to say, listen, we got to sit back a little. We got to build the best process, the best experience, and the best product for our customer. And if we can create that, now we can go nationwide. That's exactly what we did. So now we've created that. So now when we enter Texas and then Florida, then maybe Nevada, then Colorado, et cetera, we are going to be nationwide very, very, very quickly, one way or the other. And before getting there, it was about building that experience. Now that we have that experience, we're ready to go. So in 2022, look out for Better Earth. And I'm sorry, I apologize if you have not heard of us yet. If you're a customer, this is the first time hearing about us, I apologize. You're a sales rep, you're another company, I apologize you haven't heard of us yet. But I can assure you in 2022, 23, 24, you will continue to hear about us, and we will be in your face in a very positive way, because, again, we're on a mission, and we have to make sure that everyone knows about that mission, and as many people that can possibly be a part of it are. So, yeah.
Yeah, and that's what really excites me is the foundation's been set. We're ready to go. and we're coming. Florida's going to be first, then Texas, then probably Nevada, and then it's kind of game time. And the one thing I just want to add to that last little bit is we've been super unwilling to expand without purpose, meaning we don't want to just sub out and put our name and slap it on someone else's work, someone else's experience. A lot of others expand that way. It's kind of a false expansion, and we've been unwilling to do that. Everything's vertically integrated. Everyone's a Better Earth employee, and that really lets us control the game with players on our team that we know and trust and can deliver that experience. And I think that's a huge separator. It's a huge differentiator, and I know from homeowner clients and sales clients, that's been huge in building a lot of trust. And I think it's cool because we don't have to do it that way. I think all of us know we've got a lot of different timelines we could go after, and we've gone after the one that experience is, ranked 1 through 10. We're unwilling to kind of bend the knee to anything else but an amazing experience. And I think that's, one of the things that just really builds my internal trust in just our team, because I can feel that throughout our entire company it's everyone's ranked 1 through 10, regardless of the team, regardless if it's your first day or you've been here since day one. Everyone takes that extremely, extremely seriously.
And in 2022, you have to.
Yeah.
I don't care if you're in solar. I don't care if you're in another industry. You have to create a good experience. You know why? Because everyone is going to hear about it. And the internet is the reputation of 2022. The internet is the resume of 2022. And if you don't have the best experience, and if you aren't treating your customers properly, or you're doing things in a shady way, an unethical way, people will find out very quickly. Mm-hmm. Maybe in 1975, 1980, or 2000, it was easier to get away with not providing the best experience and not providing the best service. I see it all the time today. You look at a massive airliner, a company that has been comfortable for a very long time. Well, today, if you don't provide a good experience, guess what? One of those passengers might have been a huge influencer, and they posted you, and they genuinely affected your airliner and your company. That couldn't happen 20 or 30 years ago. So today, no matter what happens, you have to create a good experience. And a part of me loves so much of it because it is true transparency. The best companies, the truly best companies in an uncorrupt way, are going to rise to the top without being affected by any politics or any money or anything going on. If you provide a good experience, you will get to the top. And if you do it in a true and ethical way. And if you don't, people will find out and you won't last for long. And that's the best part about 2022. For some people, it's the worst, but for us, it's the best because we know we are going to deliver upon that experience every single day. And if there's ever anything that we can improve on and do better, you best believe that we are working on it at all times, 24/7.
Yeah, Zain, I absolutely love that. If you had one final message for everyone to kind of end the year and jump into 2022, what would it be?
Yeah, I would say, listen, if you're a customer deciding to go with Better Earth, you're a sales rep deciding to go with Better Earth, you're an employee who wants to work at Better Earth, we have opportunity for you, and I can promise you firsthand, we are going to deliver upon what we say. 2022 is a year where we're going to make a massive impact on this industry. And like I said, throughout this entire podcast, mass solar adoption is the goal. And the only way you get there is by truly providing the best experience for everyone involved. If our sales reps aren't happy, if the companies that we're partnered with aren't happy, if our employees aren't happy, or our customers aren't happy, we will not be the #1 solar company. And I promise you that is not what we're going to do. We are going to make sure that you have the best experience. We're going to make sure that at the end of the day, if anything happens, we are there to solve it, help you out, and provide the best experience. What we have coming in 2022 is expansion. We're going to have attention on every single area of our business. We're going to be building the best software, the best experience, the best marketing, the best sales, and just the best culture overall at our company. And if you want to be a part of that, I welcome you, because we need a whole lot more people to help make this place a better Earth. And I'd leave with that message.
Yeah, awesome.
Amazing.
Well, thanks for coming up to Tampa, and we're going to do this a lot more in 2022. That's it for this installment of the Better Earth podcast.
Yes, sir.
Stay tuned. Thanks,
Thanks,
guys.
everyone.
Let's create a better Earth.